Okay. Before I talk in depth about my issues with this turkey of a movie, I have to open up a can of worms known as anime adaptations in Hollywood. Someone must have used a monkey paw or a wishing box. Just realized I should do Wish Upon sometime, maybe another Halloween. Because it seems like any anime or manga adaptation is just cursed, regardless of anything related to the idea of film production. I hope to the muses above that Alita Battle Angel is at the very least stunning enough for me to fucking not care about some of the minor issues that may be there. Or maybe even Detective Pikachu, since that trailer just came out while I was recording this. Like, I didn't even, that's not even in the script. I didn't think that thing was going to be as good looking as it is. But until either movie comes out, we've had films such as Dragon Ball Evolution, Ghost in the Shell, Full Metal Alchemist, Speed Racer, and Astro Boy. I actually liked Astro Boy a lot, but that's because Nicolas Cage. And a few from the early ages of film adaptation, if I can deem the cheese as serious or not, because at this point it's just been too long for me to be able to examine it. As you can probably tell, most, if not all, of these films I've addressed are American released films. Why? Kinda simple. Because, thanks to Hollywood, these are the more accessible to a wider audience overall, but mostly made by worse by studio mandates primarily. And of course, Death Note is a proud member of that list of being bad, to be completely honest, but surprisingly did it in spite of no studio interference. According to an interview with the director of the film, WB wanted to lose the Shinigami, or gods of death, for the non-weebs around us, and, kind of change how the book worked. But it's not like the director completely misunderstood and misused Ryuk, right? I guess I should start that review thing I've been kind of setting up. This, without further ado, is Netflix's Death Note. Another disclaimer, however, before we go in. I will be comparing it to where this adaptation, in quotations, stole its title from, as, they decided to be like, hey, we're making this story based on this concept, and then they decided to be like, hey, what if we fucked it up even worse, and somehow made a worse thing that I would not watch any more than I'd watch SAO, or SAO2, or the most of Reki Kawahar's work, actually. But, we've been out here, so let's move on. The intro, okay, but the 1983 song Reckless is not my choice for the beginning of this ride of... Wait, is that supposed to be the smartest person doing their fucking other people's homework in the goddamn open? Okay, I don't know how the rest of your high schools might have worked in anywhere else in the US, but I was pretty good in classes in North Carolina, but I was also very lazy. So, near the top in testing, very high in classes, but if I were to do anyone else's homework, I wouldn't do it. I'd just let them copy me. I'd just be like, hand them my sheet and move on. I was passing high math classes with a 97 while playing literal fucking Skyrim back in the day on a fucking shitty ass computer. And my teacher knew. He saw me playing. He didn't give me tips because, He was an old man that didn't know how to play Skyrim, but he saw me playing. He just knew that my scores were good enough to not care. What I'm saying is, intelligence breeds laziness. And he only did half of that homework? And he got paid that much? Damn, I should have charged money to just do that. Well, I should have charged money to let them copy my work. Actually, I had a kid copy off my fucking math exam when I was fucking in my final class for college. Wow. I should have charged money. Yeah, I'm just realizing this now, like, fucking goddamn 4 years after the point that I could have done that. Anyway, ominous music starts playing as a notebook falls from the sky, as well as a dramatic rain and thunder combination. Very distinct from the show, or anime, where it becomes dead fucking silent when it appears in our world.
At a faster rate than has ever occurred in our recorded history.
There's a small thing here, too, that I'll get back to later when it comes up in the dialogue, but, you know, regardless. Rain begins to fall heavier, moving white boy McFrosted Tips inside. However, the local bully, because of course there's a bully, it's an American film, is picking on another character, and our protagonist just watches. A far cry from the man who became an asshole that we knew at the beginning of the anime. A proud man fighting for justice as best he can in a later episode of the show, risking it all. This undercooked piece of white bread stares as a kid is harassed by 2 older students. But he does get involved, after another character initiates with the bullies and gets pushed. And based on the previous footage, it's someone he has a crush on. Way to put your best foot forward, cream cheese on an English muffin. And I guess the director tries to show how smart Light is by having him recall the bully is nearly an adult and trying to use legalese to avoid getting his ass kicked, instead of doing something that requires anything actually clever, like saying, this one teacher uses blanks, musical sheets, forms to make her multiple choice test or something to outsmart the bully and also give him a little bit, like, maybe show like that it's kind of unfair or something. That he was able to do something not incredibly obvious to who they cast that's barely a teenager. Though they did make a... Hold on, let me check my list. Pours a half gallon of milk into 2 ounces of coffee. Overconfident, to the point where he gets punched, and the principal, I think, discovers Cauliflower Rice's cheating scheme. This next moment in the movie is supposed to be a moment of injustice, where our main character, unseasoned chicken breast, is dealt unfair justice. However, the film seems to forget that he broke school rules too with the whole cheating thing. And he gets off with only 2 weeks of detention for having multiple students' homeworks. Damn, this mayo on a cheese sandwich is the epitome of privileged. Moving on. In detention, our lead takes out the book to examine it closer that he picked up from the rain.
Rule 1, the human whose name is written in this note shall die. Whoa. Rule 2, this note will not take effect unless the writer has the person's face in their mind when writing his or her name.
Upon meeting Ryuk, Light gets a shocking reveal that he shakes off after a second. can barely tell the two characters apart.
You've taken quite a liking to it. No reason to act surprised. I am the Shinigami Ryuk. That used to be my notebook. Judging by your laughter, you've already figured out that what you have is no ordinary notebook.
Shinigami. A god of death, huh? Well, I'm not surprised. In fact, Ryuk, I've been waiting for you.
Oh?
I've already figured out that this death note I found is real.